Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. Let's to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fatur Rahman. I am from English education student of Universitas Maritim Raja Ali Haji. In this video, I would like to do oral presentation to fulfill the assignment for academic speaking class. Well, the topic of my presentation is evolution of L2 motivation in higher education. The writer Aliha Al-Hori. Motivation is a subject of interdisciplinary interest, cutting through such diverse fields of knowledge as education, psychology, sociology, economics, and political science. Motivation, commonly defined as the extent to which the individual works or strives to learn the language because of a desire to do so, and the satisfaction experienced in the activity. Motivation in higher education. Part of this temporal dimensions is how motivation evolves over the years in higher education. One might be tempted to believe that the higher education student is naturally more motivated than a school child, based on the assumption that adult learners are different and consequently require different treatment from school children. Knowledge 1986 introduced the term andragogy as opposite to pedagogy to refer to this distinction. So, motivational intensity. According to Gardner's 1985 integrative motive, L2 motivation encompasses three components: motivational intensity or effort, desire to learn the language or cognition, and attitudes towards language learning or affect. Gardner 1985 also operationalized his theory into an extensively tested and highly reliable self-report instrument to measure motivation, and called it the attitude or motivation the battery, or EMTB. The present study. The uniqueness of this study stems from the fact that it addresses an area that has not received sufficient attention. This area is the evolution of the Saudi students' L2 motivation in higher education. Another unique aspect of this study is that it examines this issue from a different perspective: motivational intensity. So the instrument, due to the scarcity of studies that tested motivational intensity, a new instrument was developed in order to measure exam procrastination. First research question. The instrument included items about the time the participant first started preparing for their tests in the semester of the study. The participants were asked 3 questions concerning the weekly Wednesday quizzes and the 2 major exams that they had before completing the questionnaire. So the discussion. The result of this study seemed to lend some support to the other studies review above that painted a gloomy picture. where there is a pattern of motivation to decline over time. In the present study, this pattern was revealed specifically in exam, procrastination, and daily studying, but not in the other areas. As discussed above, there are three possible explanations in the literature for the observed declining pattern. The first is related to the distinction between attitudes and motivation. The second, to the deterioration of self-efficacy. And the third, to the formulation of the realistic goals. These explanations will be discussed in relation to the findings to this study. So the conclusion. This paper has attempted to investigate the macrotemporal dimension of L2 motivation in higher education. The findings might be interpreted as a confirmation of the gloomy picture of motivational decline, or in a more optimistic light, where learners formulate goals that are more realistic. In the latter case, their motivation does not actually decline, but enters a new phase. Regardless of which of these two interpretations is adopted, teachers should recognize this pattern and accordingly adjust teaching methodologies and motivational strategies. The consistency of the current result with other in this area appears to lend support to measuring motivation to motivational intensity when operationalized in terms of voluntariness and habituality.